day, ma'am. We are the group Three Wishes. We are here to present to you our topic about utilitarianism. But before that, let me introduce myself. I am Tony Jane Cordero, together with my group mates, Winnet Nicole Diamante and Christine Alemania. Next slide, please. Introduction. On January 25, 2015, the 84th Special Action Force, or SAF, conducted a police operation at Tucanalipao, Mamasapuno, in Maguindanao, also known as Oplan Exodus. It was intended to serve an arrest warrant for Zulkifli bin Hir, or Marwan, a Malaysian terrorist and bomb maker who had $5 million bounty on his head. This mission eventually led to a clash between the Philippine National Police, or PNP, SAF on the other hand, and the Bangsamoro Islamic Freedom Fighters, and the more Islamic Liberation Front on the other. In one of the Congress investigations that followed this tragic mission, then Senate President Franklin Drilon and Senator Francis Escudero debated the public hearing of an audio recording of an alleged conversation that attempted to cover up the massacre of the PNP SAF commandos. Drilon questioned and admissibility of these recordings as evidence under the anti-wiretapping law, whereas Escudero cited the legal brief of the Free Legal Assistance Group, arguing that the anti-wiretapping law protects only the recording and interception of private communications.
Next, Senator Paul's response lead us to ask, can the government infringe individual rights? If it is morally permissible for the government to infringe individual rights, when can the government do so? Does it become legitimate to sacrifice individual rights when considering the greatest benefit for the greatest number of people? This case exposes the aftermath of the Mama Sapano incident and the Senate investigations. The Senate inquiry proceedings raised questions on the possibility of wiretapping and the intrusion to one's right to privacy. While the 1987 Philippine Constitution does protect one's right to private communication, it did provide some exemption to its inviolability.
What is utilitarianism? Utilitarianism is an ethical theory that argues for the goodness of pleasure and the determination of right behavior based on the usefulness of the action sequences. This means that the pleasure is good and that the goodness of an action is determined by its usefulness. Its root word is utility, which refers to the usefulness of consequences of one's actions and behavior. Next slide. Jeremy Bentham on 1748 to 1832. Jeremy Bentham was born on February 15, 1748 in London, England. He was a teacher of James Mill, father of John Stuart Mill. Bentham first wrote about the greatest happiness, principle of ethics, and was known for a system of penal management called panopticon. On the other hand, John Stuart Mill, on 1806 to 1873, was born on May 20, 1806 in Pentonville, London, United Kingdom. He was the son of James Mill, a friend and disciple of Jeremy Bentham. John Stuart Mill was homeschooled. He studied Greek at the age of 3 and Latin at the age of 8. He wrote a history of Roman law at age 11 and suffered a nervous breakdown at the age of 20. He was married to Harriet Taylor after 21 years of friendship. His ethical theory and his defense of utilitarian views are found in his long essay entitled Utilitarianism. Next slide, please.
The principle of utility. In the book An Introduction to the Principle of Morals and Legislation, 1789, Jeremy Bentham begins by arguing that our actions are governed by two sovereign masters, which he calls pleasure and pain. These masters are given to us by nature to help us determine what is good or bad and what ought to be done and not. They fasten our choices to their throne. The principle of utility is about our subjection to these sovereign masters. Pleasure and pain. On one hand, the principle refers to the motivation of our action as guided by our avoidance of pain and our desire for pleasure. Mill argues that we act and do things because we find them pleasurable and we avoid doing things because they are painful. If we find our actions pleasurable, Mill explains, it is because they are inherently pleasurable in themselves, or they eventually lead to the promotion of pleasure and the avoidance of pain. Bentham identified as the natural moral preferability of pleasure. Mill refers to as a theory of life. In determining the moral preferability of actions, Bentham provides a framework for evaluating pleasure and pain, commonly called philosophic calculus. Philosophic calculus is a common currency framework that calculates the pleasure that some actions can produce.
Philosophic calculus allows the evaluation of all actions and their resultant pleasure. This means that actions are evaluated on this single scale regardless of preferences and values. In this sense, pleasure and pain can only quantitatively differ but not qualitatively differ from others. Experiences of pleasure and pain accordingly. Human pleasures are qualitatively different from animal pleasures. It is unfair to assume that we merely pursue pleasures appropriate for beasts, even if there are instances when we choose to pursue such base pleasures. To explain this, Mill recognizes the empirical fact that there are different kinds of pleasures. It is quite compatible with the principle of utility to recognize the fact that some kinds of pleasure are more desirable and more valuable than others. It would be absorbed that while, in estimating all other things, quality is considered as well as quantity. The estimation of pleasure should be supposed to depend on quantity alone. In defending further the comparative choice between intellectual and bestial pleasures, Mill offers an imaginative thought experiment. He asks whether a human person would prefer to accept the highly pleasurable life of an animal while at the same time being denied of everything that makes him a person. He thinks that few, if any, would give up human qualities of higher reason for the pleasures of a pig. In the most famous quote in Mill's Utilitarianism, we read, "It is better to be a human being dissatisfied than a pig satisfied. Better to be secretes dissatisfied than a fool satisfied." And if the fool or the pig is of a different opinion, it is because they only know their own side of the question. The other party to the comparison knows both sides.
Conclusion of our topic about utilitarianism is a consequentialist ethical theory that suggests an action is morally right if it produces the greatest amount of good for the greatest number of people.
In conclusion, while utilitarianism provides a straightforward way to assess the morality of actions and decisions, its emphasis on maximizing overall utility can sometimes lead to ethical dilemmas, such as sacrificing the rights or well-being of a minority for the greater good of the majority. Critics argue that this approach can overlook individual rights and justice.
However, supporters of utilitarianism believe that its focus on promoting the overall well-being of society leads to better outcomes in the long run. Ultimately, the effectiveness and ethical implications of utilitarianism depend on how it is applied in real-world situations and the values and priorities of the individuals or societies using it.
So, the lesson of utilitarianism is the main idea behind utilitarianism is that the best action is the one that maximizes overall happiness or pleasure. In other words, the ethical value of an action is determined by its ability to create the greatest amount of good for the greatest number of people.
The realization about the topic of utilitarianism. Utilitarianism is a philosophical theory that suggests the best action is the one that maximizes overall well-being or happiness. It is often associated with the idea of the greatest good for the greatest number.
So, this is the end of our pre-recorded presentation. Thank you so much and goodbye.
Thank you!